Hello, my name is Nathan Peterson and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. Today we're going to talk about something that is called Harm OCD. So we're going to talk about Harm OCD, but before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm posting videos every single week on different mental health issues. Harm OCD manifests itself as unwanted, intrusive thoughts about harming yourself or other people. Individuals can have mental images of violence or catastrophic thoughts about harming another person. Intrusive thoughts about violent acts towards people. This can often cause distorted beliefs for themselves. Meaning, I can't believe I would have this thought. Are you sure that this is actually me? This seems like it's going against who I am as a person, but why am I having these thoughts? Or even an urge. This is really difficult for the individual because it goes completely against their value system. Just like any OCD topic, OCD likes to attack what the person values most. So somebody might value children, someone might value family, might value their friends, might value themselves quite often. So OCD might come in here and just try to attack that the best that it can and say, you know what, you value your child that you just had? I'm going to give you some urges and some feelings and some images in your head that might be completely against what you actually want to do, but I'm going to make you really feel like you do. I see Harm OCD manifests itself in a few different ways, and this is what I see. There are a few different categories. One of them are the fear of harming someone else just because of their irresponsibility. Individuals will fear that because they were so careless, that's why something bad is going to happen. An example of this might be that somebody worries that the stove is on, and if they leave that stove on, then something bad is going to happen. The house might blow up, the house might start on fire, and everyone inside is going to die. It also might be, I just left this toy on the ground that my child left there, and if I don't pick that up right now, someone's going to trip over it and they're going to fall and they're going to hit their head into the wall. They're going to get a concussion, they're going to end up in the hospital, and it's not going to be a great thing. So I better pick up that toy. But their thought might actually say, but you probably want that to happen. An individual may worry that their parking brake in their car will be faulty and that it will cause harm to somebody else. That car will start rolling across and it might actually hit somebody. And yet again, this is harm by accident, irresponsibility. But sometimes the person's brain can say, but you probably want that to happen. When it comes to accidental self-harm, individuals may be worried that they are taking too many medications or that they are harming themselves by taking that medication that psychiatrist gave them. They may keep track of these medications and make sure I'm only supposed to take one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. So if I take 3, I gotta look at that bottle and make sure I count how many are there to make sure I didn't accidentally take too many. Just because I was careless and I was hurrying so quick in the morning and I just took that medication right before I left, then now I gotta be really meticulous because if I don't, I'm causing harm to myself. Another example of this carelessness is that their brain says, you know all those power strips you have throughout your house that are like plugged into the TV and all these different things? You gotta make sure you go unplug those because if you don't, what if it's gonna spark a fire? So make sure you go and you unplug all those right before bed. Another category that I see is just the fear of being very impulsive, causing harm to somebody because they have that impulse. This individual may be worried that they may do something to someone else because of this impulse. They may perform some type of violent act because of this feeling, without reason, without warning. For instance, somebody with Harm OCD may be sitting by a classmate or a friend and all of a sudden feel the need to grab their pencil and stab them. They have this thought, they have this feeling, they have the impulsivity. They often worry that they're going to snap, that they're going to do something that goes against their value system, but they feel it and they felt the urge and they saw the image and all of that came through. Some of these impulses that the individuals may have would be, I'm walking by somebody on the bridge and I feel like I need to go push them off. Or I feel like I have a baby in my arms and I need to throw them down the stairs. It's something that is not pre-planned, but more just this impulse. Right now in this moment, this thought came, this image came, the feeling came, you saw the whole thing, and the brain says, you could do this thing. You could cause this violent act to happen. And usually the follow-up in that person's brain is, I would never do something like that. Why is that thought coming to me? Another example would be some individuals will be driving a car and they see somebody walking on the side of the road and they're like, they feel that impulse and the image and the feeling to just drive over and run them over. Sometimes it's just hitting, sometimes it's slapping. There are so many different ways that an individual can feel these type of feelings or have these impulses. But something to be aware is that this impulse is different than a natural impulse that we have. This is fueled by a lot of intrusive thoughts that this person may experience. Again, this is a pretty big shock to their system. This is not something they actually want to do, but they feel, or their brain can almost trick them to believe that this is actually something you want to do, and it can even say that to them. Another category is the fear of harming someone else just because I thought about it. Often we think our thoughts have a lot of power. There is some superstition that can come along with this, and even some magical thinking, which means I had this thought in my head that my child is going to get hurt, and so because I've had that thought, something actually is going to happen now. Or I thought of something ill towards somebody else, or I was talking bad about somebody else, so man, something bad is going to happen to them now. Or I probably wanted something bad to happen to them because I had that thought. Some of these individuals may fear that their identity that they've known their whole life is actually not who they are. They may worry that they are a sociopath, or they are a serial killer, or they are something that is not who they are as a person. They may research online to make sure that they don't fit the category of these things. They will compulsively be analyzing other people to see, I saw this in a movie, this is who they are as a person. Is that who I am? Is that something that I would actually do? Some individuals may feel that the thoughts that they are having, the harm thoughts, are causing some type of contamination. Sometimes these individuals can't even explain what this means other than I feel dirty. And if I'm thinking about somebody else with these harm thoughts, I am making them dirty. I am making them contaminated. So they feel the need to clean these thoughts, which probably means they are doing a compulsion of some kind, meaning they are praying to say, hopefully that is not something that I really want to do. Please take this away from me. Or they're saying a ritual such as, no, 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 I would never do that. Or they are apologizing for this thought, or they're doing whatever their brain tells them they need to do to possibly repent from a thought like this so they can be clean again. When these individuals worry about self-harm, they may worry, am I someone capable to actually commit suicide? Unlike somebody with suicidal ideation who comes up with a plan, they have intent, and they may want to follow through with these actions, these individuals may wonder and worry about, I had this thought, I wonder if I'd actually do it. It goes against who they are as a person, their value system, what they actually want. This might include thoughts of suicide, but not intentions. Their brain may keep cycling through different thoughts of jumping off a bridge, using a knife, whatever else it might be, and they can't get this thought to go away, so they must think that it has a lot of value. If I can't get this thought to go away and I've got these feelings, then it must be something I actually want to do. So just like with any anxiety that somebody feels, we tend to have this need to do a compulsion. We want to get rid of this anxiety, and some of the compulsions that are common that I see with Harm OCD are these. There are a lot of avoidance strategies that people use. They may not sit next to their pet anymore because they have that intrusive harm thought towards their pet. They may never touch objects again, such as knives, chemicals, any of that, to not even risk that that thought was true in the first place. They may only stay in locations where they never have the opportunity to hit somebody or knock them off the cliff or through a window. A lot of individuals are not going to watch different TV shows that are violent as to not trigger these thoughts in the first place. Some individuals may worry that if they ever get angry, they may actually follow through with these thoughts. So they want to make sure they are happy at all times. I got to do a lot of meditation. I got to make sure I'm smiling, because if I'm not smiling, then what if I actually follow through with my thought? Some individuals may seek reassurance, whether they are going online and writing certain things on forums. I had this thought and I had this feeling. Do you think I'd actually do it? And other people are responding and saying, you're probably a good person. You'd probably never do this. Don't worry about it. Go talk to somebody about it. You're doing great. And they feel that relief. But how long does that last? Sometimes a few minutes, sometimes a few hours, but their brain's like, I didn't explain every little detail about this, so I probably got to go back on and I got to write more. And they gave me that answer again. Or they may ask a parent, a friend, a spouse, do you think I would actually do this? I had this thought, I had this feeling, I know it's scary, but do you think I'd actually do something like that? Do you think I'd actually harm another person or harm myself? They're doing a lot of reassurance when it comes to analyzing themselves towards somebody who actually harms another person. Am I like that person? Do I do those kind of things? Is my hair even the same kind of way that serial killer's hair is? It seems like the person on that TV show always wears blue when they do those bad things. So I'm going to make sure I don't wear blue anymore, because if I wear blue, I don't even want to be close to that kind of person. Sometimes there's a lot of mental rituals that come along with Harm OCD. Individuals may spend a lot of time just reviewing intentions. They may actually look at their old journals to see, did I have any of these kind of thoughts or feelings back then? They'll just check different situations and look at their intentions. I don't think I felt that way, but how was my foot? Was my foot slightly to the left, because if it was, then I was closer to them, but I don't think I meant to do that. I don't know. Sometimes individuals will replace bad thoughts or intrusive harm thoughts with something that is good. And they've got to do that every single time. It's almost like exiting this bad thought with a good thought, and it's gone. They may actually review different situations, review that thought in their head to say, okay, I had the thought of grabbing that knife and stabbing my mom, but am I actually going to do something like that? They may actually replay the whole situation, change the story. I got to change the story that I actually grabbed the knife and I just cut some tomatoes and I put it in the bowl and we ate some salad for dinner. And that's really what happened. Some individuals may compulsively pray and ask God for forgiveness or help. And this usually isn't just like 1 or 2 times a day, it's like throughout the day. Sometimes every single time the intrusive thought may come. They may have certain words that they need to say every time a harm thought comes. No, I'm a good person, stop coming to me. No, I would never do this, I'm a good Christian boy. No, I love my mom. Some individuals may do some superstitious or magical thinking type of behaviors, such as, okay, if I tap door handles 3 times every time I have this thought, then I'm not actually going to do that thing that my brain said I'm going to do. Or if I always look up to the right every time I have that thought, then I'm going to be a good person. Or if I plug my ears and I go la 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 every time I have that thought, then that just nixes the whole thing out. Some people may think about washing their hands as the same way as like scrubbing their brain, making it clean, taking the contamination away. So they may actually wash their hands every time they have a thought like that. Whew. So if you can tell, Harm OCD is not fun for the individual that experiences it. One of the big things that they're going to ask or question are, I had this thought, how do you know that I'm not actually going to do it? But I had the thought, but I had the feeling, but I had even the sensation, I had the urge. How do you know I'm not going to do it? That if I sat there and I said, you're not going to do it, I know who you are as a person, you're a great person, it's probably going to be a few minutes, hours, days until they ask me again. Which goes to show that OCD makes somebody doubt and question. Reassurance does not work. Well, it does, temporarily, but long-term it's not a great thing. So the treatment for Harm OCD, I'll create a whole separate treatment for this, so make sure you subscribe so you can see that. But essentially the treatment is exposure and response prevention. And that doesn't mean, okay, go grab a knife and go stab your mom. No! This means we actually might hold a knife, we might sit next to your mom, might do that together, but the rules for exposure is we're never going to do something that actually hurts somebody, we're not going to do something that actually hurts yourself, and we're not going to break the law. That's a short example of what exposure and response prevention is that we're going to sit there with the uncomfortableness, we're going to allow ourselves to be more uncertain about the feelings, the thoughts, the urges. We're not going to make sense of it. We might actually even say, yep, I may or may not stab my mom. Yep, I may or may not stab my mom. Or we might say, yeah, I probably will stab my mom. Or yeah, the intention that I had was probably real. Yes, I would love that. Hope you stay all day long. That would be great if I had these thoughts. Really, like I've said in previous videos, this bully is here trying to get you to be worried and you're just saying, cool, agree with the thought, accept it, embrace it, step closer to it. So let me know in the comments below, do you struggle with Harm OCD? What's worked for you? What hasn't worked for you? Thank you so much for watching. And remember, seek uncertainty. Individuals can have mental, oh my gosh, there's a few different categories I see. For instance, somebody might be, another category is just fear.